Welcome to Worthwhile Watches. I'm Rob. Getting right into it today. This is Phoebus's recently released 40mm Leviathan with 200 meters of water resistance. The original Leviathan was a much larger 500-meter diver with a 45mm case, 54mm lug-to-lug, and 15.5mm thickness. So this 200-meter Leviathan is going to be wearable for a lot of people who don't have gigantic wrists. This is still quite a chunky watch, but there are a number of design features that really help its wearability beyond just being smaller in size. Taking a look at the case, it's dramatically sloped toward the ends of the lugs, allowing the case to hug the wrist and reduce any gapping under the lugs. Another feature is the case back that barely protrudes below the case at all. This allows the case to settle down low on the wrist, again helping to reduce any gapping under the lugs. The angular facets also create the visual impression that the watch is sloping steeply downward, enhancing the wrist-hugging appearance. Those facets also just look cool. This faceted case kind of reminds me of an F-117 stealth fighter. Taking a look at the dimensions here, one thing to note is that the 48mm lug-to-lug measurement doesn't include the male end links, which will push that measurement out to about 52.8 millimeters. However, the end links do slope downwards, helping it to still drape naturally around most wrists. The case is all brushed, but the direction of the brushing changes, creating an interesting effect. It's vertically brushed on the sides, with horizontal brushing on some of the beveled edges. The lugs are vertically brushed to match the bracelet brushing, but the angled facets are brushed at the same angle, giving this case an interesting toolish look, but with extra attention to detail that gives it a bit of refinement. I've really been enjoying wearing this watch over the last couple weeks, and these subtle case design elements really help this chunky angular diver to wear comfortably all day. Turning the watch over, we can see this attractive engraving of the Phoebus octopus in the center of the screw-down case back, with some watch information around the perimeter. The surface is radially brushed, and the background behind the octopus has a fine sandblasted-like texture, which enhances the logo's sense of depth. Overall, the case back looks good and is free from overly sharp edges. I will say the positioning of the 8 round holes, along with their relatively shallow depth, made caseback removal a bit more difficult than many other dive watches with the more common 6-hole arrangement. But the flatness of the caseback really does help with wearability. The rugged refinement of the case also continues into the bracelet, which is a large part of why this watch wears so well. The links have a similar bold, angular, faceted design, which reflect light in an interesting way. It's eye-catching, but thanks to the bracelet being fully brushed, it doesn't look blingy or out of place. The links are well made, solid, and adjusted with screw pins. But my favorite feature of this bracelet is the clasp. It has a fully brushed double push button clasp featuring a nice Phoebus octopus logo. It's milled and features a tool-free micro adjust system. I always appreciate an adjustable clasp like this, especially on a watch that's somewhat heavy or chunky. This clasp ensures I can always get the right fit anytime and anywhere. In addition to the convenience of the adjustable clasp, the bracelet also has quick-release spring bars, making the often difficult task of removing and installing a bracelet much easier. So, this watch fits great thanks to its toolless micro-adjust clasp and smart case design elements. But what about the dial? Well, it's a beautiful dial that really showcases the toolish precision found throughout this watch. The dial is a fantastic balance of function, style, and precision that comes together to create something understated yet handsome and purposeful. The fine sandblasted look of the hands and indices give it a refined matte luster. This is not a rough utilitarian finish, but a smooth, even, precise matte finish that gives these hands a high-quality, sharp, and purposeful look. The indices and date window frame also share this precision matte finish. Underneath the hands is an attractive metallic burnt orange dial that fades to black along the outer edge. This watch is also offered in a few other colors, all of which I think look really nice, but the orange was my favorite. The dial's radial pattern creates a sunburst effect with just enough pop to complement the rest of the dial elements without appearing too flashy. Everything works together to form a rugged sophistication that's always pleasing to look at. The dial printing is also impressively clean, with minute markers all the way around and only 2 lines of text. If there's one negative thing I can say about this dial, it's the red text. On this dial color, the red just gets lost on the orange background. I usually like a pop of red on a dial, but in this case, the colors just don't work very well together in my opinion. But overall, I'm extremely impressed with this dial, and I still find myself regularly mesmerized by it. Above the dial is a nice piece of flat sapphire with 3 layers of anti-reflective coating. The crystal is nice and clear, and reflections and glare have not been an issue at all in my use. I have no complaints about the crystal. Surrounding the crystal is a matte black ceramic bezel insert with blocky lumed numerals and markers, and minute markers for the first 15 minutes. Like everything else on this watch so far, the bezel insert is purposeful and precise. The bezel itself is brushed stainless steel with 4 sections of scallops cut into the side, but not all the way around, leaving smooth areas in between. This does give it an interesting and unique look, but I have found that the smooth areas can affect grip when trying to turn the bezel. However, this is a minor complaint. The 120 click bezel is a joy to turn and has just the right amount of tension with smooth, consistent clicks all the way around. As long as you're gripping a scalloped area, it's fantastic, but your fingers will slip on those smooth areas. This watch is powered by a Seiko NH35 movement, which is an automatic 3 Hz movement with hacking, hand winding, and about a 41-hour power reserve. I like this choice of movement for this watch, as the NH35 is a solid, reliable workhorse that also helps keep the cost down. I've had mostly good luck with the NH35, but this Phoibos does have a 2-year warranty if there is a problem. Setting that NH35 is really a treat thanks to the crown. First of all, like pretty much everything else on this watch, I have to say again that this crown is toolish yet precise. It's chunky, grippy, neatly machined, and signed with a Phoibos logo. The crown has a conical shape that tapers inward, allowing for excellent grip and control when pulling the crown out to the first or second position. Setting the watch is smooth and the thread engagement is effortless. It's a real joy to use. Of course, a nice dive watch needs good lume, and this 20-minute lume test shows that it is excellent. The watch has 15 layers of BGW9 Superluminova applied to the hands, indices, and bezel markers, and they all light up nice and bright. After 20 minutes, everything is evenly lit and still very clearly visible. Once again, this watch delivers with an impressive performance. This being my first Phoibos watch, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I know Phoibos has a good reputation for making nice watches for a reasonable price, but I really wasn't prepared for this level of quality and refinement. So much thought and consideration has gone into the design of this watch, things that are often overlooked on watches costing many times the price of this one. The case design that nestles down and hugs the wrist, the large, conical, grippy crown that's such a joy to use, the tool-free micro-adjust clasp, the quick-release spring bars, all these things really make this watch convenient and user-friendly. The reliable movement, excellent lume, and stunning looks just complete the package. Aside from just a few nitpicks, this watch has really exceeded my expectations. I can definitely call this a worthwhile addition to my collection, and one I'll be hanging on to. If this style of watch appeals to you, I can definitely recommend it. What you get for the money here is really impressive. Let me know what you think of Phoibos. Have you also been impressed with them? If you enjoy these videos, please consider liking and subscribing. Your subscription would really help me to continue to grow and improve this channel. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and no matter what you have on your wrist, make your day worthwhile.